Hi, Kirsten. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Riana. Great to see you. I miss hearing your wisdom and all your faith and just great ideas that you have.
Tell us, how'd you start your journey? What made you pick up the phone and want to call me?
So I had just ended a 7-year on again, off again relationship. When it was finally over, I realized was incredibly toxic. I was actually involved with a narcissist, which I didn't even understand what that meant until, I was in so much pain that I wanted to figure out what happened to me. I just was willing to do anything to get over this and move forward with my life. And I heard you on a podcast. You were being interviewed and you were talking about relationships and toxic relationships and how to have a healthy relationship. The one thing that you mentioned that really struck me was you had said that a lot of people have these unhealed childhood traumas that if they don't ever work through and figure out, it can lead to continual adult relationships that fail.
What were some of the emotions going through your head at the time of should you do coaching, should you not? What made you finally say, I'm going for it?
A lot of the things that you said on the podcast. And then we had that first introductory meeting and I just feel like you understood me better than anyone. I've had therapy on and off in my life, but I felt like you really got down to the core issues really quickly in a way that nobody ever had. My emotions at the time were I was overcoming this traumatic relationship. So I had a lot of insecurities. I was a little bit afraid, not able to trust anyone at that time in my life. So
very typical though, Kirsten. The low trust is part of childhood trauma. And I totally get that.
You walked me through that process and you reassured me that it was all normal and just continued to have faith and trust in you and put my best foot forward and really focus on healing myself and learning what my triggers were and what was going wrong in my relationships.
Once you learned that you had childhood trauma, that it impacted your life, how did that make a difference to you?
It was being aware of where my pain was coming from and what those triggers were. And also maybe the way that I saw the world and the expectations that I had of other people. Some of that really at the core was I would need someone else to really heal those wounds and make me happy. If I could just find someone else to make me happy. But the reality is what I learned through the process is I need to heal those wounds within me and I need to be happy within myself first, living the full life that I want to live. And that way I will find an equal partner. It's really healing from the inside.
Boy, you really learned your stuff well and you can voice it so clearly. I love it. And what did you do differently with your dating once you had your educational coaching? Was there some different strategies that you used to find your partner? Anything that you want to share?
Right. And if you remember, I'm still not going to date Riana. And you said, oh no, you got to get out there. I was like, oh, I'm so scared. I just don't want to get hurt again. You really were my cheerleader in that process. So that was awesome because I did get back out there and I really learned my own worth. I stopped being attracted to guys just because they were attracted to me. Started really looking at what I wanted in a relationship. You coached me through those first couple dates that I went on and I started asking different questions. I started asking about their childhood, asking about their families, asking what they did as they were children growing up, finding out what their traumas were, and then asking questions to figure out how much awareness did they have of their own trauma and had they addressed it and healed from it and did they take accountability?
Isn't that something when you know the questions to ask, and there is a series of them, and we start the questions on the first date and then even the second date and the third date. It's hard to get them all out in one date.
Sure.
But sometimes even on that first date, it's glaringly obvious. If there's a lot of unhealed wounds or baggage, as people would call it, nobody wants to fix the other person. And when you feel good about your life or great about your life, as we learn to do, we're living this amazing single life, then you want someone else that feels good about who they are and their life, not someone with problems.
Exactly.
You shared with me that during the testing phase, you decided not to date someone that you were dating for quite a period of time.
First of all, the biggest empowering thing that I really practiced was I can't change him.
Yes.
No amount of love. There's nothing I can do that will make him take better care of himself and get over his addiction. That has to come from within him. I know he wanted this relationship with me. I know he cared deeply for me, but I also knew that that was going to be something that was always going to be an issue between us. And we can never have true intimacy when his first love was alcohol. I ended that relationship on very good terms. I was honest with him and I told him. He said he understood and I wished him well. The difference was the great thing thing that I learned from you. But I ended it and I was able to walk away from it, and I didn't stay in it just because I was focusing on the good part, which is what I've done before, even though it was very unhealthy, the other side of the relationship. That's been my past with a lot of my relationships.
You even mentioned that your parental relationships had improved with the coaching. Can you explain to the listeners how that occurred?
Well, I've got 2 teenagers, and they have a lot of ups and downs and mood swings. During my 7-year relationship, they suffered a little bit because of my emotional abuse that I was going through. It's a matter of I learned to be really patient with them, to let go of things I can't control with them, to live in the present. We started having a lot more fun together. We talked a lot about some of the things that we went through and how we're all healing from it, and how we have to practice forgiveness and show compassion. It's not, healthy to hold on to anger, and that they are really also in charge of their lives. Basically, I tried to turn it to a positive as well. And sometimes they get emotional and have these outbursts. I've been able to step back and not take things personally, boundary, and be like, okay, this is something they're going through. It doesn't mean I'm a bad mom, and it's all that positive self-talk about my worth and the good things that I do.
It's very powerful, Kirsten. I'm so glad that you shared this with your kids.
Yes. And a couple other things was I was learning, I think they had an idea that's supposed to be perfect. And I somehow subconsciously got that for me. That was not my intent to be that role model. But I started saying, it's okay to just be good enough.
What dating, parenting, and life tips do you have for our listeners? What other things have you learned that you'd like to share?
A big part of my healing has been just practicing gratitude every single day. And really, if I start to go into any kind of negative thinking pattern, is to first be aware that I'm having those thoughts and then change them into a positive thinking pattern. Meditation helps, that you taught in your coaching program. And really just having that positive mindset is just so important if you want to be healthy and lead a healthy life. I truly believe in that law of attraction, and that what you can envision, what you want, and it does come to you. I also think that the relationships that we're in mirror where we are in our healing process, and really sifting through what we want and what we don't want. And so it's really just takes practice. I never really got that growing up. I felt always judged who I was dating. My parents were pretty harsh on me about that, and just kind of picked things apart all the time. And so I never really felt like I could just have the experience for the sake of having the experience. And so that's really what I'm practicing now. And I'm also really practicing healthy boundaries. That's another thing. It might feel like it's out of your comfort zone if you haven't ever practiced healthy boundaries. So it might feel a little uncomfortable to do that, but that means that you're really progressing and moving forward.
Oh my God, that's so well said. I loved everything that you shared. Yes, the mindset makes a difference in everything. And I know when we were working together, you also got an amazing raise, right?
I did. I got a promotion.
Got a great promotion and a new position where you had more flexibility and more time. So you were excited about that. And that's how the mindset work happens. When you learn the mindset for success, it comes out in all areas: parenting, business, career, love, personal happiness, friendships, finances. It comes out in all life areas. When you have the mindset, it doesn't go away. You can see Kirsten and some of my other grads, how solid they are in their fortitude of who they are now versus who they were before. We describe it like a rainbow. You're starting out at the area on the left side. You don't know what you don't know. And I was there and I'm like, I don't know how to change this. I don't know what to do, which is a very frustrating feeling. And then as you're getting this education and as you go up the learning curve, or we call the rainbow, you're doing great, but then there's going to be slip. And then you learn more and then you slip. And the slippages are natural and normal because the unconscious is so strong of what you grew up with that we are changing lifelong patterns. By the time though you do learn it and you get it because you've been practicing it and you have your coach there with you and calling you on your stuff, like Kirsten saying, I don't think I'm going to go out and date yet. I'm like, oh yes you are. But once you're on the other side and you get it and you're practicing it, it's like who you are 24/7. And that conscious awareness of living in the now doesn't go away. Right, Kirsten?
Right.
You're always on this awareness and living in the now. And it's a wonderful place to be. The door to the past is locked. It doesn't even faze us anymore.
Very true.
Enjoy the journey. You have a lot to learn, but one step at a time. And then it all comes together. And that's the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, when you get this, and it just feels so amazing in your life. What final words of wisdom do you have, Kirsten? You shared so many great tips with our people today.
Oh, I just can't thank you enough. You really helped me build a solid foundation for dating. And what I've noticed since last January when I graduated is I'm still learning, but I'm able to use the lessons that you gave me and apply those in the real world with dating. It's just awesome. And it's just, I'm so excited now that I've been back out there because I know so much more than I even knew 6 months ago. It's really, really fun. You were just fabulous in everything that you taught me. I just cannot thank you enough.
Oh God, thank you for sharing your heart and your life with me and trusting me. I know that's a big leap of faith that everybody does the minute they sign up. And I have that responsibility to deliver everything I can, because I tap myself right back to that position of where you were. And I remember how hard that was to come to someone and say, oh my God, please help me, except I just had no one I could turn to. So the fact that you guys turn to me and say, Riana, help me, I am there. And it is my heart, it is my passion. And it's people like you that are now teaching your kids and maybe your friends, and they're going to get it. And this is the mission to change the way the world loves. And you're a part of that. And I can't thank you enough, Kirsten. I love you, girl. You know that.
I know. I love you too, Riana. You are so welcome. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to share my experience.
Sometimes it's nice to hear from others. She has a beautiful testimonial on my website as well, my testimonial page. Kirsten, you're the best. Thank you for joining us.
You are so welcome.
Have a great day.
You too.
Do you feel like you have tried everything? Self-help books, therapy, relationship summits, retreats, online courses, podcasts. But you still struggle with toxic love, attracting narcissistic partners, ongoing anxiety, depression, codependency, love addiction, stress, moodiness, lack of hope, feeling stuck in your career, and you just can't seem to get love right. It's time to heal your unconscious behavioral patterns caused by unhealed childhood trauma. I'm Riana Milne, the Love Trauma Recovery expert and certified life and love coach who helps thousands around the world, and I can help you too. I specialize in helping adults heal from unconscious childhood and love relationship traumas, emotional triggers, and dysfunctional behavioral patterns, which have been impacting them negatively in life, love, or business, to transform and create the life they desire and to have the love they deserve. Talk to me today at rianamilne.com and get the free ebook below to learn more.